National Weather Service in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is Jonathan Blaze with our weekly routine weather briefing for Central North Carolina. This will include the Thanksgiving holiday week and in through the 27th of November. So let's take a peek at the weather pattern for the upcoming week. For today, as shown in the upper left panel here on this screen, we have a chilly high pressure kind of extending across the Carolinas and into parts of the Tennessee Valley and deep south. That will persist for the rest of the day into tonight with generally fair and cool weather. As we head into the later parts of the week, the high pressure system will linger across the area. You'll notice a little bit of shading of some light green right along the coast here in this panel for Wednesday in the upper right. With the kind of northeast and easterly flow circulating around the high pressure system, it'll bring in some moisture and some clouds, perhaps a sprinkle or two, maybe a shower along the immediate coast. There's a teeny tiny chance we might have a shower or sprinkle down in places like the Sandhills or the southern coastal plain, but that should be relatively inconsequential. Just generally fair weather and cool temperatures really for today, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. As we head into the middle and end of the work week, starting here on Thursday on Thanksgiving, as shown in the lower left panel, this analysis and forecast shows a frontal system extending across the central part of the country with our persistent high pressure kind of lingering across the mid-Atlantic and northeast. This system, as it moves east, develops and evolves, is going to likely impact our weather for late Thursday and more likely into Friday and Saturday. There are lots of questions on exactly how this is going to evolve and impact our area. Lots of different scenarios and modeling solutions portray the system. The best bet and the most likely occurrence is that we'll have dry weather on Wednesday into Thursday. So for all the folks traveling for Thanksgiving holiday, for the most part, that should not be a concern in the immediate area. There will be a chance of some rain spreading into the area from the west Thursday night. That looks like more likely that'll occur on Friday and Friday night, with that system perhaps moving off the coast as we head into Saturday. But still, there are other solutions that show a delayed and slower evolution of the system and maybe weather impacting our area for Saturday and the Sunday. So there are a lot of questions. Best bet, again, is for precipitation to come in very late on Thanksgiving night and then more likely on a Friday and Saturday. At this point, don't expect any wintry weather or anything of that sort. There are a couple solutions that suggest this system could be a little robust. There could be some thunderstorms with it. But at this point, it looks like it would be a lower impact event, but bring some much needed rain to the area, again, for most likely on Friday and Friday night. Looking at the tropics, as we head into the latter parts here of November, no tropical cyclones are expected. There's very few areas of disturbed weather out in the tropical Atlantic, so that is great news, and we'll take that. Looking at the precipitation forecast from the Weather Prediction Center for the next 5 days. For today, shown on the upper left panel, dry conditions across central North Carolina. For Tuesday, generally dry in our area. We'll see a little bit of shading here right on the coast with some of those kind of coastal showers developing, likely staying out of our area. But if you live near Fayetteville or maybe Goldsboro or down in Clinton, wouldn't be surprised if maybe it was a sprinkle somewhere nearby, but generally dry weather. And Wednesday also should be dry. Now, this forecast here includes the most likely scenario of that weather system impacting us for late Thursday into Friday. So we do see some shading over us on Thursday, but it looks like that would be for Thursday night. So really, again, it looks like Thursday for Thanksgiving, at least the first part of the day should be dry with some precipitation coming in late, and then perhaps more widespread precipitation for Friday and Friday night. If we take those two amounts and add them up, looks like rainfall amounts across our area would average in general between a quarter, maybe a half inch. A few spots could get a little bit more precipitation. But again, there are lots of questions on the timing and evolution of the system. So really much more uncertainty than typical for a forecast that's out for 5 days from now. So you'll need to come back and listen to our forecasts and updates for over the next coming days to see exactly how that forecast evolves for late in the work week. Looking at how much precipitation fell over the past week, greatest amounts have been up near Virginia border and in the Triad, where some of those spots had half inch or more of rain. For many of us, rainfall amounts were noticeably lighter, between about 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch. If we look at our drought update for Central North Carolina, this graphic is helped produced by our friends downstairs at the North Carolina State Climate Office. You'll see the yellow shading here, the light shading is for abnormally dry conditions. The tan that shows up here in the southern Piedmont, east of Charlotte, and locations down toward Rockingham and Wadesboro, that is some moderate drought, and also some moderate drought creeping into places like just east of Clinton and Sampson County. And more significant drought, severe drought, is now developed out in the southwestern part of North Carolina. But for most of us, abnormally dry conditions, those persist. The rains from the cold did help a little bit, but we'll take any real rain we can get, given how dry it has been for the past several weeks, to be honest with you. Excessive rainfall outlooks for today, Tuesday, and Wednesday are 0, as no significant rain or any rain really is expected during that time period. Looking at the severe weather outlooks for the next handful of days, no areas highlighted near us for the next 3 days. There are some storms forecast in Florida, but really looks like severe weather is not a threat through midweek, and any kind of concerns with thunderstorms on Thursday and Friday, still a little bit too early to have much details on that, although it does not look to be kind of a setup for widespread kind of severe weather. So that's good news as well. 6 to 10 day outlook for temperatures and precipitation. Probabilities are kind of a wash here with near normal. Conditions are the most likely scenario. The typical high for most of our area for this period would be in the upper 50s, and the normal lows in the upper 30s, maybe some mid 30s out in the Triad and your Virginia border. So typical kind of weather expected for the last part of November as we approach December. And then looking at late November to early December for the 8 to 14 day outlook, indications are that temperatures will moderate a bit with a slightly better chance of above average temperatures during that period as we start December. And again, precipitation chances are kind of a wash, no real good signal for there. And again, the normal highs as we head into the first week of December cool off a little bit more and generally range in the mid or upper 50s, and normal lows in the mid or upper 30s for most of us. All right, the weather summary. Again, quiet weather really expected for the next handful of days with fair weather. Lots of uncertainty about how that storm system evolves late Thursday and especially Friday. Again, most likely scenario is for a rainy period, perhaps on Friday and Friday night. There is some scenarios that suggest that rain will hold off and impact us over the weekend, so please stay tuned for that. At this point, it doesn't look to be a super highly impactful system, so that's good news, but we'll need to keep an eye on that. And then the chilly temperatures we've had for the past handful of days, including lows this morning that ranged in the upper teens in many spots near the Triad and near the Virginia state line, and in the lower 20s for most of us. Those really cold temperatures will give way to a moderating temperature trend. And really, once we start into around Wednesday, looks like temperatures for most of us will be at or above freezing. So if you have any tender vegetation or plants still out there you're trying to hold on to as we head into December, moderating temperatures there will keep us above freezing, at least for most locations during that period. So that's it for the weekly briefing. I hope everyone has a great week. I will stand by for any kind of questions. Otherwise, hope everyone has a great week. And again, stay in touch about our weather for Thanksgiving, and especially on the shopping day on Friday.